Pirantes, orala yaba. Obrava, orala yabo.
Trobbio indeed. Hello dear viewers. Welcome to a video on one of the greatest characters in Hollow Knight Silksong. Certainly one of the few characters with a strong sense of style, of gravitas, one who wants to play a role, who wants to entertain people. For all you can say about the other characters in Silksong, the many memorable ones there are, I can't say there's any of them who's trying to do the same things that Trobbio is trying to do. Mostly because, you know, Trobbio's very self-centered, self-aggrandizing, and not that interested in what's going on outside of him. But, you know, there's something to be said about how enjoyable it is to fight him and just hear him talk and everything about him. That's why I wanted to make a video going over Trobbio and the deceptively high amount of secrets associated with him. When the normal person looks at Trobbio, his boss fight, they think, cool, that was a nice boss fight, it was very entertaining, and then they move on with their day. What they may not realize is there are so many hidden and secret interactions that come from the very small set of things you can do with Trobbio, whether that be picking up his claw mirror, avoiding his claw mirror entirely and trying to pick up his second claw mirror before his first, picking up his quills when you don't have your own, something that many people didn't know was possible, trying to skip his boss fight entirely to see if he still appears in Act 3 as Tormented Trobbio. He is a mess, a tangle of interconnected sequences in this game that Team Cherry had to put a lot of thought into to get working just right. And outside of the obvious secrets that come with Trobbio, I wanted to cover all of those other connected secrets with him. And it was a very intensive process getting all the information right for this video. So if you're interested in more videos about Hollow Knight Silksong and just interesting stuff in this game, please subscribe. And let me show you the first secret immediately. This is probably the most commonly known. Trobbio's not dead. When you beat him in his boss fight, he just plays dead. He's just acting, because that's all he is an actor. And whenever Hornet goes off screen and comes back, he immediately drops his facade. Oh well, at least he's not dead, so we have more things to do with him later. And you may see to the right of Trobbio that he has dropped the claw mirror, which is a useful tool that heals upon binding. And once we leave the screen as well, Trobbio leaves because he no longer needs to pretend he's dead. But one of the bigger secrets I wanted to figure out in the creation of this video is what would happen if you leave the claw mirror behind, try to go all the way to Act 3, and pick up his second purple mirror from Tormented Trobbio before touching the first. Could you get a singular purple mirror? Well, I have made it all the way to Act 3 at this point, and I have still yet to pick up the claw mirror. You will see a gaping hole in my inventory right where the claw mirror is supposed to be, surrounded by almost every other tool in the game. And at this point, I thought I could just go fight Tormented Trobbio by picking up his quest. It's called Pain, Misery, and Anguish, and it's normally unlocked, I thought, by just getting the ability to Silksong and coming back from the Abyss. Sadly, I learned that is not the only requirement to unlock Tormented Trobbio. Team Cherry, in their infinite wisdom, made it so that you cannot unlock Tormented Trobbio's boss fight until you specifically pick up the claw mirror. It doesn't matter that we've beaten Trobbio, because we do not have his claw mirror, and even though you can see he wrote down his message there, we are never going to be able to face him until we specifically pick up this item. This item which has stayed here through all of Act 2 and pretty much all of Act 3. I hoped that we could skip this mirror, because doing so is the only way that we can see what happens if we pick up the purple claw mirror without having the red one. However, as I'm going to show you in this quick run back, it is fully impossible to get Tormented Trobbio's quest without picking up this item. And I was truly baffled to learn that. It is such a specific requirement, and I was confused. what is so bad about the concept of going to fight Tormented Trobbio and getting his second mirror without getting the first mirror? What could possibly be so game-breaking about just having the mirrors in the wrong order? You see, the quest immediately showed up once I picked up that mirror, so that mirror is the only thing that is a requirement other than getting Silksong. So, with that in mind, dear viewer, I thought, why don't I see what Team Cherry tried to hide from all of us? What is the secret of the purple claw mirror? We are going to go fight Tormented Trobbio, and I'm going to revert to a save where I don't have the claw mirror, so that I can see what happens when you do things in ways Team Cherry doesn't want. So simply by walking into this room, you can see that Tormented Trobbio is here and ready to fight. I have activated his quest using a bit of save file editing, while still not having the claw mirror, and that means we're going to see the claw mirror on the ground in this fight, which is something that's normally unobtainable during normal gameplay, and we are going to see what happens when we try to pick up the dark mirror that Tormented Trobbio drops once you beat him. But before that, let's just appreciate the intro to this fight, because it is extremely entertaining to see Trobbio act like this. Oh no, guys. I gotta get ready for the most intense fight of my Hollow Knight Silksong career. That was pretty intense. You know, Trobbio, you're quite the fighter. You put up a good old college try. Now get out of here, you maniac. Yeah. Give me your purple smoke. Give us your final words about how Farloom is doomed. It will be doomed if you kill us, you know that. Finish your quest here, and once you do, Trobbio will spit out the second half of the twin claw mirrors, which you're normally only supposed to get after picking up the first half. So what happens if you pick it up while leaving the first red claw mirror on the ground? Do we get the exclusive dark mirror to use? Thank you, Steam, for that achievement. I'm a professional YouTuber, by the way. No. Team Cherry never expected you to not have the red mirror, so they just give you both of them. So what happens if we pick up the red mirror now, after already being given both of them from beating Trobbio? Is this like a clone? Is this an illegal copy we have on the ground? That's pretty much exactly what it is, because by picking up the original claw mirror, we have been given the single claw mirror and the two claw mirrors together. So we have 3 mirrors for the price of 2. 3 at once. So what'll happen if we try to use all 3 in combat at once? Before we point out what all 3 together would look like, we have to establish what they look like individually and the damage they deal individually. And something else that's important to point out is, yes, you can equip all 3 mirrors at once. It's an incredible sight to see them both in your inventory. So what is the damage of a single claw mirror to start with? Well, all the damage of tools gets knocked down by enemy resistances, but at max tool damage upgrade, a single claw mirror does 47 damage, and that's with the first tick of damage plus 2 additional ticks afterwards. And when you go to the 2 claw mirrors, you would hope that the damage would be doubled, and your hopes are not to be listened to, because instead you get a measly 20 more damage when you add a whole second mirror. Guess that dark mirror is not really doing a lot of work, huh? But what would happen when we combined the 47 damage of the single mirror with the 67 of the 2 mirrors? We have 3 mirrors on, and the first thing you'll be very sad to see, dear viewer, is that the animation of all 3 mirrors looks strikingly similar to the animation of just the twin mirrors. And when you bring it out to combat, instead of getting more than 100 damage, as would be the case with the damage numbers we've seen, we get the exact same damage numbers as the twin mirrors. Yes, sadly Team Cherry made these items both equipable at the same time, and yet they don't improve any damage. A shame. But hey, it's a cool secret to have in your menu, if you know how to save at it. But I've also got other secrets I want to go over for those of us who cannot save edit and would rather do things on the current patch of Silksong. So, I'm in this area because if we manage to unlock this shortcut right here, we can bypass fighting Trobbio entirely. And by doing so, we can get to Act 3 without ever having killed Trobbio, without having him in our Hunter's Journal, and without likely even spawning the Claw Mirror. And I also want to point out while I'm here that this red quill is very unique. I made a video on it in the past, but if you just buy the quill from Chakra, you'll have this white quill in your menu. But if you don't buy the quill from Chakra, and you come all the way here in Act 2, you are given the option to take Trobbio's quill and attach it to your map, giving you a unique menu sprite that'll be on your save file for the rest of time. But if red just isn't your color, and you like the style of Tormented Trobbio, you can wait all the way to Act 3 instead, and take the purple quill for your menu. Truly one of the most uncommon items you'll ever see in a Silksong's player's save file, because it requires you to never use a quill for the entirety of your playthrough of Act 1 or 2. So, it's one of my favorite secrets in the game. It's one that I found out pretty much when this game came out. But onto a more modern secret, one I just found out about. Bench storage has been a very common staple of my channel for a while now. It lets you change crests without being on a bench. It has other effects too, like giving you the ability to heal wherever you are. But for our purposes, bench storage is important because it can let us go out of bounds. Now the only real ways to skip Trobbio are with glitches, and I'm not going to explain the glitch that I'm doing right now. I've done it many times before. Just know it's a glitch that lets you push Hornet out of bounds by doing that. And now that we are out of bounds here, we can go behind the shortcut that is meant to be one way and is meant to only be unlocked after you beat Trobbio. So what does that mean for the future of this game? Tormented Trobbio spawns in Act 3. He theoretically only spawns when you have gotten the Claw Mirror. So if we never fight Trobbio to begin with, we don't have to, because there is no prerequisites for unlocking Act 3 that require you to beat this guy right here. So if you just save and quit and go forward with your unlocked shortcut, what will happen in Act 3? Well, I have just made it to Act 3, as you can see by the Awaiting the End quest, a quest that comes immediately after starting and escaping from the enemies. But one thing you'll also notice is that I've skipped Trobbio in this save file. His entry in the Hunter's Journal is right after the Vault Keeper normally. He is not here. This is a Hunter's Journal that, for all intents and purposes, Team Cherry should not have expected you to achieve. It's why I also don't have the Claw Mirror, because without glitches, there's no way to skip Trobbio. And yet, even with that being the case, Team Cherry still managed to spawn in the Claw Mirror, despite me never killing the boss that dropped it in the first place. Why? I learned through one of my Discord members that this is because on starting Act 3, Team Cherry kills Trobbio. Yeah, they just put in a flag to defeat him, thinking that in case you miss Trobbio, we want to kill them, so that you can get the Claw Mirror in Act 3, so that you can fight Tormented Trobbio. How did they have the foresight to know that we would be using glitches to skip Trobbio? But hey, surely they couldn't have thought of the Hunter's Journal entry. In my quest to discover all secrets I can find about Trobbio, I wanted to be the only person who did not have a Trobbio in their Hunter's Journal. I could have Tormented Trobbio, that's fine. But now that I'm in Act 3, theoretically it would be impossible to get Trobbio's Hunter's Journal entry, which means it would be impossible to finish the Hunter's Journal. And while I'm at it, why don't I make Tormented Trobbio feel even worse? I've turned off the music. So, we're gonna be greeted with the world's most anticlimactic opening to a boss fight by watching what happens when Trobbio comes in unaccompanied by any music. Let me be quiet for this. I'm sorry, I can't be quiet. It's so stupid. It's so dumb looking. You don't have. Let me just humiliate him further, okay? Trobbio, I'm going to watch you run around. How does anyone play this game, or like games like this, with music turned off? Please tell me. I've seen streamers do it sometimes, and this isn't even like a secret. This is just me. This is the secret of how to make Trobbio the most pathetic boss ever. Get out of here. Oh my god. But the whole reason I killed this boss here was to see if it would leave an entry in the Hunter's Journal for Tormented Trobbio and an empty one next to it for normal Trobbio. Because if so, then you can have probably one of the most unique Hunter's Journal anyone could ever have in Hollow Knight Silksong, simply by skipping Trobbio. And you can lock yourself out of Memento completion, which I love locking myself out of completion. So yeah, we had to have the first mirror to unlock this quest, so we have the dual mirrors now. And guess what? Beating Tormented Trobbio alone gives you Trobbio's Hunter's Journal entry. That's right, Team Cherry are such devious, well thought out little jerks that they specifically thought of circumstances where people will use glitches to pass Trobbio, so they killed him off with code once you start Act 3, but because that code doesn't add Trobbio to the Hunter's Journal, they also wrote code to make it so that killing Tormented Trobbio also adds the Hunter's Journal entry for normal Trobbio. I can't imagine where they thought they've been one step ahead of me the whole time, and gosh darn it, I have to respect them for it, you know? I'm mad about it, but I have to respect them. So let me end this off, my failure of inventing a lot of secrets. Let me end this video off with a legitimate secret that I think people are less familiar with. So people know that normal Trobbio goes and pretends to be dead after you beat him. I'm sure some people might wonder what Tormented Trobbio is doing after you beat him. Well, if you go sit at a bench right after you beat Tormented Trobbio and come back to this stage and wait for a couple of seconds, you'll notice a little visitor popping out and freaking out when he sees that you're here. So, hey, Trobbio's definitely learned to get off the stage before pretending to not notice you. So, at least he is getting better at his job. And hey, once we beat Act 3 and we save Farloom from the void, maybe Trobbio will start to have an audience once again outside of just Hornet. And that's why I'm going to let him be on screen with Hornet for the 3 seconds he will be before he runs away again. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm not happy that so many of my plans for secrets and unique scenarios were so deviously thwarted by Team Cherry months ago. But I am happy that I am able to impart that information to all of you, my wonderful dear viewers. Thank you everyone for watching. You know what? No, this game is a 0 out of 10 because Needlin is not muted when you turn music to 0. Where's your forethought with that, Team Cherry? Huh?